Now, you are a deeply spiritual man, and you're here in Berlin to deliver a talk, as I understand it, at a tourism trade fair, the ITB. What sort of message are you bringing with you? What is the link between travel, sustainability, and spirituality?
They're intertwined, because nothing goes by itself on its own. The old people say that you, personally, you consist of your mind, your spirit, and your body, but when those are in balance, you become a complete person. So thus, everything is connected. It's amazing how much we have learned about climate change, but how disconnected we are into reality of what's happening. As you know that my people are the only ones on Earth who live with the big ice. And that big ice is melting so bad that you will be stunned if you see it. In my short lifetime of 68 years, it has shrunk 3 kilometers on the average.
Greenland, you're
Greenland's
talking about
ice.
that. Yeah, it's directly impacted by
Directly impacted by the way you and I will live in Berlin, around the world, and then not realizing the impact it is carrying. I refused to go to Paris this last fall.
for the Global Climate Conference.
And they asked me to come. Uncle, that's what they call me. Uncle, come. I said, no, I can't. Because my consciousness tells me that I've gone to so many meetings in my life in 67 countries that I can't go to Paris because they're not going to do anything. And they didn't.
So you feel that the agreement that was reached in Paris does not go far enough?
It's not worth the paper it's printed on. Because so far, no one has completed what they agreed on.
Okay, so
many months have passed since Paris.
There have been many conferences in the past, and not enough action has actually been taken upon the decisions that were made there. What would you like to see done?
I would like people to become deeper aware of what they have. You know, the old people say that somebody like you should become the hope for the world. And how does one become the hope in terms of what's happening in the world? It's becoming aware in your mind, in your spirit, and in your body.
So the mind, spirit, body unity is something which you would like to see everyone internalize. When you say me, of course, you mean every individual on the planet. Yeah. And there is a lot more talk about that now, you say, that you recognize that, there's a consciousness, but you're still not seeing the kind of action that should be taken.
Exactly.
Again, you've traveled, as you say, to dozens and dozens of countries. You've followed conferences and discussions in all sorts of contexts, not just in a policy context, but also in a spiritual context of dealing with indigenous peoples. I'm just wondering if you see any positive examples in the world that might serve as models for people to follow.
Yes, the local communities. You should go and visit some of the local communities who have brought back their ceremonies, and doing things as a hope for their community. Whereas in the big cities like Berlin and New York and London and Paris, you don't see that kind of awareness. People are so busy living day-to-day life that they forget about themselves.
So think locally, or think globally, act locally, as it were.
Yes.
Just a final question regarding the travel industry. We're living in an age of cheap travel. There's a travel boom. People are flying all around the world, including yourself. Is this a blessing or a curse for your cause?
Both. It has become easier to see the world, but people are so used to just to see the beach, or just to see the shopping, the material side of the world, that they don't see the earth itself. The earth is an amazing world to live in. And if you really become aware of her, you become part of that earth, not the world.
Okay. Angaangaq, Uncle, as you're known to your followers, thank you so much for being with us this morning on DW News.
I'm so happy to meet you. And then look at that ice wisdom, and then you can see that the world really is one earth. And her people, which includes you and me, are the citizens of that world.
It's a message I think we can all benefit from.
Oh.
Thank you so much.